hear a very different sound in just a few moments as we get the aircraft taken off. He's on the roll. Look to the left, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be talking to him live in the cockpit in just a moment, but he's all the way from Dayton, Ohio, the city that taught the world to fly. It was the home of the Wright brothers. Taken off in the North American Texan is Mr. Bill Leff in his 36th year in the air show industry. Watch him as he gains speed to about 150 miles per hour as he approaches show center. The nose will come up and he it's back with a 4-point hesitation roll on takeoff. And in his salute to 100 years of naval aviation, he used to have U.S. Air Force, USAF on the wing. He's got Navy on it today. And let's see if we've got Bill Leff with us on the radio. Well, Bill Leff, a pleasant good morning to you, sir. Welcome to Pensacola, and I love the Navy markings on your SNJ. Hold on, little G's, aren't you, buddy?
Yes, sir. Microphone kind of moves out of the way when I do that.
Well, no problem. You're going to do some demonstrations of some advanced maneuvers like the cadets would use before they earned their wings, and they'd be flying an airplane just like yours.
That's right. This is what the cadets learned back in World War II, prepping them for aerial combat to learn to fly the fighter aircraft. Today, we got a special treat. We've converted our airplane from a T-6 Texan to an SNJ just for the folks here celebrating the 100th anniversary of naval aviation.
Boy, oh boy, it's a great shot of you with a Curtis pusher right below you, and you in the sky of Pensacola. You've got a noisy engine there, Bill.
Well, that's actually the propeller makes all that noise.
The propeller's making the noise, not the engine? How so?
Well, the flap is so long that the tips of the propeller go supersonic. That's what makes the cracking noise.
So in other words, you're telling me that you've got mini sonic booms going from your 1940s vintage airplane?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, Bill, what's the maneuver coming up?
Okay, we're going to make a little circle here, get a little altitude, and the next thing we're going to
Say again your last?
The next maneuver is going to be a Cuban 8.
Oh, good, very good. Well, you do it, I'll describe it.
Roger.
Bill Leff is going to do a Cuban 8. Now, this maneuver actually has history that dates back to 1936, and it was a maneuver that was invented kind of by accident. Len Povey at the Miami Air Races in 1936 was doing a demonstration in a Curtiss Hawk, an airplane at the time. It was very high performance. He was doing a loop, but when he got to the loop, he was too low to successfully complete it. So rather than make a smoking hole in the ground, he came over the top and then rolled the airplane upright and did the same thing in the opposite direction. His air show smoke carved a figure 8 lying on its side in the sky. Now, Bill's going to modify it a little bit, not with a half a roll, but a full roll and a half. So it's not going to be quite like a figure 8 as Len Povey. But when Len Povey landed and everybody had seen with his air show smoke that figure 8 carved in the sky with a smoke, they asked him on the ground, what was that maneuver? And since he was also training the Cuban Air Force pilots to fly aerobatics, he responded with 2 words in Spanish, Ocho Cubano, Cuban 8. And since 1936, that name has stuck. All right, Bill Leff, that would work. What's coming up next, my friend?
Okay, now we're going to do a good old-fashioned barnstormer loop.
Ah, we'll love that. All right, check out Bill. He will now... Very good. He's going to set up for the Barnstormer's loop. After World War I, a fighter pilot who survived the war, and that is a very difficult thing to do. That was difficult to do during World War I. to survive, the average life of a fighter pilot in World War I was somewhere around 3 weeks. But some of those pilots who survived and wanted to stay in aviation got built by Curtiss, and they would then fly around a town, fly over the town, do a loop like this. That's pretty slow. And then field, give rides for $5 or $10 and stay in aviation. Now watch Bill do this level 8. He's experiencing about 4 times the pull of gravity right now, so I'm not going to talk to him in the airplane as he comes by. Okay, well, I wasn't going to talk to you in the airplane, but you're not having any trouble handling those G's. A flat 8? I bet you're right. He's got to contract the muscles in the lower part of his body and squeeze a little bit to keep the blood up by his head so everything, so he'll stay conscious. Now Bill Leff is going to set up for the next maneuver. The United States Army Air Force and the United States Navy combined, according to some of the history books that I've read, actually produced and used over 10,000, close to 15,000 of these airplanes. They were also used by nearly 30 Allied nations during World War II. All right, Wilco, got it. Bill just told me he's going to do something with the landing gear here. Now, watch as the airplane rolls up. You don't see wheels now. He'll roll it on its back, reach out with his left hand, and the wheels are going down. When the wheels go down, the wheels usually go down, but the wheels went up. You say you extended them?
Roger that.
Well, that'll work for me. Okay, it's aerodynamically dirty. That means you got a lot of drag on the airplane. What are you going to do with all that drag?
Well, we're going to slow the airplane down, kind of hit a little bit into the wind, and see how slow we can make this old girl fly.
All right. You slow her down, call the speeds. Going to slow it down for a high alpha pass.
110 miles an hour. Don't have any ground. What do I do at ground speed? Just past a 90.
Watch him slow it down. He pulls the nose up, adds power.
Indicated airspeed. There's 70.
Wow.
65, showing 51 knot ground speed.
51 knots, that's just about 60 miles an hour, just shy of 60
miles an hour.
Unbelievable. That's a 5,500-pound airplane, right, Bill?
That's affirmative.
Look at that, slowing it down.
I want to clean it up and come back and do some more maneuvers for you.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you. Give Bill Leff a nice round of applause. Great aircraft handling. You hear that, Bill?
Yes, sir.
All right, looks like she's cleaned up. Gears all sucked up into the wheel wells, and you got some speed back.
Now we're going to do something everybody tells you can't do with a T-6. We're going to roll this over inverted, and then do a roll from inverted to inverted.
Oh, why can't you do that with a T-6?
Well, originally the airplane did not have an inverted oil system. This one does. But the fuel system was always made to run upside down.
So you have limited amount of time that you can stay upside down, or at least the original Texans had limited time upside down.
Roger that. They're about 10 seconds. I'm limited to about 35.
Bill has been flying this airplane for 36 years. He restored this airplane himself. He's flown over 1,000 performances in this airplane, all over the Western Hemisphere. Not the least little bit of a sputter from that 600 horsepower radial engine, Bill.
Yeah, she's running really great down here in Pensacola today.
Yet when you get around these, what they call a standard day with 59 degrees of temperature and low humidity and right at sea level, it doesn't perform much better than that.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely beautiful.
I bet you are. Okay, what is the SNJ going to do for us now? Watch the 4-point roll. The stick goes to the left knife edge. Another 90 to inverted. Another 90 degrees of roll into right knife edge. And then the last 90 degrees. This big, thick wing on the Texan. It does a full roll that way. The big thick...
Okay, get your cameras out. We're going to let the old girl show off for you. Do a little pose.
I think this is called the classic photo pass, right? Now watch him bring it in. You can take a picture. He's going to get the airplane cross-controlled. He'll put the left wing down, give it some right rudder, and you can look right down into the office of the North American Texan. About how fast are you going there, Bill?
That's about 190 miles an hour. This is going to be about 200.
All right, very good. About 200 miles an
I'm
hour.
going to put the top up to what I call full brake windows.
Full brake windows. All right, well, so we'll really hear the mini sonic booms on the propeller tips this time.
This envisioned hundreds of these things flying with the cadets back in World War II.
I tell you, it's quite an airplane to fly and quite an airplane to fly in. It's a big airplane, but it's still, you know, there's not a lot of headroom inside there, is there?
Not very much.
All right, coming in at 200 miles an hour, a gentleman who learned to fly and earned his money to learn to fly. Locations on his route was the home of the Wright brothers. Bill, your classic story of delivering papers to the Wright brothers is amazing, just so you could earn money to fly, to learn to fly.
That's right. I lived about 3 blocks from their house. And as we've talked before, Orville died about 2 months before I was born. But what a great incentive for role model for me to get into flying with my neighbors. Next is going to be my salute to all you folks. Naval Aviation, 100 years of Naval Aviation, and everybody in the Air Force, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, and the Navy. Hoorah! This is a classic victory roll.
All right, Bill's coming up. And throw that stick over to the left to do the victory roll. This is what the fighter pilots did when they came home from a successful aerial mission.
So, Rob, that's going to do it for today. We'll see everybody tomorrow. And be sure to come out for tonight.
Oh, you bet. Congratulations, Bill Leff. Nice round of applause, everybody, for the man from Dayton, Ohio, Mr. Bill Leff. See you, partner. And he's going to head on back to the boss. And in just a minute, we'll be bringing up a guy from Dallas, Texas, who's going to fly for you next. And I hope you'll join us on airshowbuzz.com. It's our virtual online airshow community where you can be part of the folks from all over the world who love aviation, who want to escape life's gravity. They've got some great films on that site that are free to watch, an amazing HD film library, and a story about, well, an animated story that's kind of like Pixar animation. Very, very great story about a P-51 Mustang named Mike and a little Jeep that wanted to fly and how he was able to achieve that dream of flying. It's a great story with a message for kids of all ages. So check out airshowbuzz.com. Nearly 30 allied nations used the North American Texan as a trainer. As a matter of fact, prior to America's entry into World War II, the Royal Canadian Air Force used these, and they were flown from the production plant in Texas, where they were made, all the way up to the Canadian border in Maine, and then flown across the border and then on to the training bases. And neutrality laws made it illegal to fly a warplane from a neutral country, which the United States was at the time, into a combatant country, which Great Britain and hence Canada was at war. And so they had to literally fly the airplanes to the border, stop them at the border, shut down the engines, push them across the border, and then fly them onto their training bases. And up in Holton, Maine, the customs officials from the United States and Canada had a little fun with the border. What they did was, in order to expedite the movement of these aircraft across the border, they flew them to Holton, Maine, left the engines running. They politically moved the border from the nose of the airplane to the tails of the airplane, said, okay, you're now in Canada, get going, and they then just fired them up and went. There it is.